The race for the White House, another major shakeup for Donald Trump.
Yeah, there's new leadership running his campaign. KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan examines the potential impact of Trump's latest move. Dave?
Well, you know, this has been a pretty rough campaign so far, but some of the experts are saying with these new changes, maybe you ain't seen nothing yet. Tonight, the under new management sign is up again on the Donald Trump campaign, and with big changes expected, the campaign's taking a big chance that giving Trump license to let it rip will get him back in the race. Looking every bit the part of a presidential cabinet meeting, Donald Trump met with an informal group of campaign advisors and national security experts at the Trump Tower in Manhattan. Also at the table was Trump's new campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, and new campaign CEO, Stephen Bannon, as his campaign undergoes another major shakeup. Bannon was the subject of a recent profile by Bloomberg Businessweek, which called him the most dangerous political operative in America. Now he's getting most of the attention since he'll effectively be running the Trump campaign. He currently runs Breitbart News, a conservative website that cheered on Trump throughout the primaries and attacked the Republican establishment, as you can hear in this interview clip from June when Bannon interviewed Trump.
It's the Republican establishment with Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney. Are they not just as bad as Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama?
The Republicans better get smart. They better start sticking together. Romney's a loser. He lost the election badly.
Bannon has a reputation as a flamethrower and gets along well with Trump. But even some fellow conservatives don't like him.
Steve Bannon, I tweeted this morning, imagine that one of the worst people you know is heading up a presidential campaign. That's pretty much, where I'm at this morning.
Former editor-at-large Ben Shapiro, who left Breitbart after a scathing dispute with Bannon, says he expects Bannon will unleash Trump to turn up the heat and go get Hillary. And he says it might work.
I'm not sure it's a terrible move for the Trump campaign, given that Steve is basically going to tell Trump to be more militant, to double down, to be more focused, none of which I think is bad advice.
Hillary Clinton was not impressed by the Trump campaign changes.
Donald Trump has shown us who he is. He can hire and fire anybody he wants from his campaign. They can make him read new words from a teleprompter. But he is still the same man who insults Gold Star families, demeans women.
Loyola Marymount University political science professor Fernando Guerra says Trump is running his campaign like it's his TV show, and he doesn't expect Bannon to last any longer than his predecessors.
It's really been a long apprentice show where he's just been firing people over the process of the last couple of 8 weeks, and he's just waiting to find the right guy who can do the right message. And I fully expect that this new campaign manager will be fired by the first debate, and you'll bring somebody else on. That's how he ran the apprentice, and this is how he's running the general election.
Campaign chairman Paul Manafort, who took over running the campaign 8 weeks ago, will stay on in that position, but is expected to be pretty much on the sidelines. All this on the day when Trump received his first official classified intelligence briefing as a presidential candidate. And before the meeting even began, he indicated he doesn't trust the intelligence he'd be getting.
Not so much from the people that have been doing it for our country. I mean, look what's happened over the last 10 years. Look what's happened over the years. I mean, it's been catastrophic. And in fact, I won't use some of the people that are sort of your standards.
Well, the new management will have to work its magic on the Trump campaign pretty fast. The first debate is tentatively scheduled to take place in just over a month, and the debates could be the last lifeline for the Trump campaign if his numbers don't start growing soon.
Yes, as you said, I mean, time is short for his new campaign team. So do you think there are any other cards to play, or is this it?
I think the cards have already been dealt. I got to tell you, this would appear to be it if for no other reason than the time is really getting short. But when you think about it, what else can Trump do? He tried the more subdued presidential approach, but he kept going off message and created so much controversy that the message got lost, and so did his poll numbers. So now he goes back to just being Trump with an even sharper edge, which his new campaign CEO is expected to endorse. If that doesn't work, I'm not sure there would be enough time to try another approach, even if they could come up with one, other than scoring a big win in the debate, Selena.